I think good art makes a person feel individual and conscious. And there is awareness in the moment of the contact with art. I don't think art is to make people feel they are a mass, entertained by some spectacle. A good work of art is making that person feel aware of the individuality in that moment of concentration and awareness. It's not about entertaining or mesmerizing anybody. I like to think that every piece I do, it needs concentration to be understood, to see it clearly, to understand what is behind the gesture in my work that sometimes looks too easy or banal. Okay, good. I can see you now. So this is the black and white image?
Yes, they're more contrasted.
Symmetry is important to me. I like to explore this notion of symmetry in general. In my work is everywhere. The idea of that you have a line of transit, you establish a kind of symmetrical displacement in reality and how the body acts symmetrically and asymmetrically at the same time. The perception of the object that is designed to the body and has quite a complex structure, and then suddenly with a kind of simple gesture you exaggerate all that. Okay, I want to ask you something crazy, I don't know. Can you insert a dot in between every dot?
Oh my God.
Don't be lazy. How many dots do you think we have here? In general, in my work, it's not about showing off a kind of high level of technology or production. It's not about the skills of manufacture or the economical power in the production, but it's just showing something that is not so complicated to make, that is kind of easy. Everybody can do that. You can have strong experience that has some impact without showing off your production skills. We are trying to make one layer of just one color. We are using red now, and I think it's actually looking very bad. Yeah, I can see you are nervous because you have the camera crew here. I know, it's very hard to work under pressure. When they see a lot of my photographs, they start to see things in reality connected to those photographs. I think it's nice to disrupt the everyday life in the streets with something that is kind of subtle. It's not so much an imposition, but a dialogue with what is happening. So I think for me what it is important is that those gestures in life, they can be transported to the people. And that is very important. I think that is the most important thing. That through the work you can help people enjoy reality and life with more intensity. I like games and sports a lot.
This is a legend.
I can be very silly. I think I can enjoy very silly things. I do silly things.
And then you catch it.
I mean, I think my work is both normally silly and serious. I think that, yeah, it can be perceived as a kind of joke. Then I think I am very serious too.
But what is true is that you hit somebody with this. It's not good.
I am a serious artist. I just always love art, and I was surrounded by art in my life. I just follow it. Now is a point that they are finishing rooms. At this point, the artist just waits and waits and waits. That's why I don't like to come to installations, because I'm just waiting. I cannot touch the work. I cannot touch them because they get very nervous. The boss is having fun, and then I am here waiting. We do what? Chicotes first or this first? Chicotes. We do chicotes, okay, we do chicotes. I hope it's gonna work. It's a new installation I did in Mexico, collecting tires from the motorways. Traveling in the roads in Mexico, I always found these pieces of tires, broken tires, that they look sometimes like serpents, or they look like an animal in the middle of the road. And I started to collect them, and I found them quite interesting. Normally I get involved in all of the work. I like to do it because I need to find out by myself. So every time is a new experience, and I need to understand the experience to get to the final conclusion. We'll have two installations. One is the lintels, which is this laundromat residues from the dryer machine that I showed in New York right after September 11. The city was still quite dusty and shocked, and the presence of this disaster was so strong. Showing this work with all these residues of clothes, but also human hair and particles of the body, was strange presence and feeling about, you know, fragility and death and the residues of movement. The hood was not easy to make because it's a curve that makes a curve like that and like that. So to cut it and then fit it again, it was very hard. I wanted to be Formula One race driver. And I have this idea that a lot of the cars in the streets, they can become sport cars. So finally, when I grew up, my dream came true. This handmade, it's impossible to make it like in a James Bond movie that is just like zoom. Since I was a kid, I have been obsessed by circles. So a lot of my drawing have to do with planets and motion. As much as I was drawing cars, I was drawing planets. For me, everything important was circular. You can take it as a model of kind of orbits and planets, or a molecular model of heating atoms. The carambola piece, is based on a game called carambola, which is also called French billiards. So there are no pockets, 3 balls, and you play just to hit the other 2 balls with your own ball. In this case, I made it oval, so the behavior of the ball in the oval bands is very different and very hard to predict. And then one is hanging, so it's floating out of the field. So you have to have a good sense of timing to play the game. Oh man! But it's not impossible to play. Yes, did you got that? I get bored easily, so that's why I need to move to something new and explore something that I'm not sure what it is. I like to be learning. Every work is different, has a different process, because materials, many types of techniques, many types of encounters. To live the process is very important, to understand very well why you are doing something, and then also that gives you ideas for new works.